I've had my fair share of consoles over the years. Many that were passed down to me, some that were secondhand from shops, and as I got older, many became new. But what are my favorites, and which ones would I recommend you picking up? Well, that's what today's video is for. Congrats! Yay! Now I'm going to section these off within parts of the video, so you can skip along if you'd like, whatever is easier for you. Let's go ahead and label them right now, okay? Part 1. Consoles I had as a child. Part 2. Favorite games as a child. Part 3. Recent consoles I own. Part 4. My modded consoles. Part 5. Favorite games I have now. Part 6. Favorite consoles I have now. Bonus tier. Console tier list with a friend. Now that we've gotten that sorted out, let's get into the real meat and potatoes. Of course, I played with many retro systems like the Atari, Nintendo 64, NES, SNES, but none of those were ever mine. The first console I ever remember owning as a child was a Nintendo product. Now, I'm not sure which one came first. I remember being gifted both a very light pink DS Lite and a white DS Lite from my uncle. After that, I was passed down my brother's Game Boy Color, which had like a little snake light that hooked up to it. Then for Christmas, I was gifted from Santa a hot pink DSi. I love that thing so bad, and I still have it today. In fact, my nephew is like obsessed with it. He wants to play it every time he comes over. I actually had a case for it. I remember it was a green Nerf case. It was an interesting color combo, but I was rocking it, so. Continuing the theme of Nintendo, I was gifted a Wii again from my uncle. I was obsessed with the Wii. As a matter of fact, I still have it, and I recently bought the Beatles Rock Band for it, along with John's guitar and Paul's bass. As I got older, I was allowed to play more adult games and consoles, like the original Xbox and the PlayStation 2. The Xbox came from my uncle, and the PlayStation 2 came from my brother. My brother had just gotten the PlayStation 3, so the PlayStation 2 was all mine. As I got a little older, I was trusted more with mature type of games and consoles. So I was gifted again from my uncle the PSP 1000. And that's when I really started becoming interested in video games and consoles as a whole. I stick to those consoles till I was about 10 or 11, and then I got my first Xbox 360. It was from a pawn shop, and it was the green Halo shell version. I remember being so fascinated by the different shells and the boot up sounds. I remember wanting to have the R2-D2 one really, really bad. The console lasted me a very long time, and it was my first real experience with online gaming. My first online gaming experience on that console was with the game Doritos Crash Course and Rainbow Six Vegas. I've met so many great people who I've lost through that console, and I hope they're all doing well. I got the Kinect for the 360, but I wasn't fully into it, only for the Star Wars. The following console I got was when I was a teen, and it was a PS4 Slim, also from a pawn shop, because my 360 had completely died due to the Ring of Fire. The first game I played on my PS4 was Fallout 4, as I had loved Fallout New Vegas for my 360. This console lasted me from 2017 to 2022. In the midst of that console's lifespan, I got a Nintendo Switch for my birthday in 2019. Then I was gifted the OLED in 2022. These were all consoles that were gifted to me as a child and a teenager, and I was and still am very grateful to have gotten the opportunity to own these consoles and play with them. I had lots of game obsessions as a child. Some I'm not so sure if anyone else remembers or has experienced. Let's start off with the Nintendo DS Lite and DSi. I was absolutely obsessed with Nintendogs, Diddy Kong Racing, Mario Kart DS, Scribblenauts, and Garfield's Nightmare. I don't quite know exactly how to emphasize how much of an impact Diddy Kong Racing had on me as a child. I was genuinely addicted to that game. More so than Mario Kart, like this was serious business. Scribblenauts I didn't even play properly. I would just spend hours building these sets and scenarios and typing in swear words to see what would come up. I remember typing ass and a donkey came up, and I was giggling like I had just written the newest, funniest sketch for SNL. Like, it was ridiculous. Now, Garfield's Nightmare, that is a niche game, at least in my opinion. I don't think anyone could recognize it in an in-person conversation. Maybe on Reddit or something. Not in person, no way. No way. I don't believe it. For the Wii, there was a plethora of games that I was addicted to, but mainly Raving Rabbids, Wii Resort, all the Lego games, and Legend of Spyro The Eternal Night. These are games on the Wii that I would play endlessly, for no apparent reason other than the fact that I genuinely enjoyed them an unhealthy amount. There would be days at school where I wanted nothing more than just to come home and to play these games, just so I can play the damn Wii. Like, it was insane. It didn't help at all that I was an undiagnosed ADHD and autistic child. So those games were literally all my mind was thinking of while in class. On the Xbox, I mainly played the Burnout franchise, Battlefront games, and Simpsons Road Rage. It was something about Star Wars that just caught my attention. Bad, I don't know what it was. But also car games for some reason. I love making the cars crash and racing. It was like just a rush for me. Poor taste considering I now have PTSD to be in a car because I was in a car accident. So, but I was definitely a car kid. And the Simpsons Road Rage, I quite literally just drove around doing fuck all. I didn't do any of the missions or anything. I just was hitting people and didn't care. For one, I didn't know how to play, and two, I didn't care. On my PlayStation 2, I was addicted to Need for Speed Most Wanted, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. I would replay the same first half of Bounty Hunter because I didn't know how to get past the level, and I just liked it so much for some reason. I don't know. Same goes for Revenge of the Sith. When I got my PSP, I mainly just played Need for Speed on it. Later on, I played Ratchet and Clank. And this like iPet monkey game, I don't know, man, I don't know. It was mainly a car console for me, something I would play while I was in the back seat of the car or like in the shopping cart while my parents were walking around Target or Walmart. Gaming really truly took off for me when I was playing on my Xbox 360. I was so in love with Skate 3. Everything about Skate 3 just had me in a chokehold. At the time, we didn't really have any money, so demos carried me heavily. I played the Skate 3 demo until the timer ran out, and the Arkham City demo until the timer ran out, and Crackdown until the timer ran out. Speaking of Arkham City, that was one of my first games, like full games on my Xbox 360. That changed my outlook on storytelling games entirely. I had the Game of the Year edition, and I must have replayed that game at least like 10 times. I've been in love with Batman games ever since. Not Gotham Knights, though. No, never mind. Not that one. No. That game had my attention for years. And albeit I still come back to it, but it's on PC, so. I wanted a computer so bad, but I didn't have money, so my mom saved up to buy me those cards that you could get like those Microsoft points on to buy Minecraft for my 360. Like those cards you could get like at 7-Eleven or whatever. I played it on a mini CRT TV that we had, and I'd be on there for hours. I have a picture of me on it somewhere. If I find it, I'll put it here. Boop. I remember I opened up my world one day to the public, and a kid joined, and they fucking griefed my world. The kid later on apologized, and we became good friends, but that was like a torturous experience for me. The Yogscast inspired me to play Minecraft, and they are kind of the reason, well, not the reason, but one of the reasons why I've always wanted to make content and why I make content today. So thanks, Yogscast. Another 360 game that blew me away was Fallout New Vegas. The game I never got to finish because my Xbox died. I had put so many hours into that game. Just for it to all fall apart was just horrible. And I wasn't going to buy a new 360 just to finish it because the new generation of consoles had just come out like 3 years prior. Once I got my PS4 and started playing Fallout 4, I kind of forgot about New Vegas, but it never really filled the hole that it left. Besides Fallout 4, the game that really had me hooked was Far Cry 5. Regardless about what anyone says about the game or the gameplay, I think the story itself was really entertaining, although the gameplay was very repetitive and a bit boring, and not as fun as Far Cry 3. Played through it twice and hope to revisit it one day. That's all I really cared for the PS4. I mean, I played GTA 5, but that was it. Because I started to get into PC gaming. PC gaming came shortly after because I had just gotten a gaming laptop as a graduation gift, but I later on built a PC. As for the Switch, the only game I've really enjoyed on it is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that's about it. Actually, funny enough, the Switch introduced me to PC gaming because I played Overwatch on it first when it launched October 2019, and then I moved to PC shortly after. There's some consoles I missed out on as a kid because I either didn't really care for them or we weren't financially able to afford them. But I've got them now for my collection, and that's all that matters to me. I purchased a regular 3DS in black about 2 years ago. And then about a year ago, I purchased a new 3DS LL. The listing said it was an XL, a new 3DS XL, but it turned out it was a Japanese version. But it doesn't matter because I modded it, but we'll get to that. And a PS Vita OLED model. I found both 3DSs on Mercari for reasonable prices. The Vita I got from a friend. We traded. I gave him my Oculus and he gave me the PS Vita. I also have a PS5, but I don't have much to say about that because there's nothing going on that console. All of these consoles are modded. The 3DS, the new 3DS LL, and the Vita. I find that modding consoles is not only a right of mine, as it's important for game preservation. If you disagree, you can talk to a wall, buddy. I'm not gonna hear you out. I play several games on these devices. For the 3DS is mainly just emulating older games, like Diddy Kong Racing. And on my Vita, I play like Little Big Planet and stuff like that. My favorite games I can play on console are also available on PC, where I buy most of my games now. But for games that I played recently, I'd say my favorites are Spider-Man 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Red Dead Redemption 2, and although I've played it on PC, I know it's on console, so Dead Island 2. If you're asking me about games in general, I'm going to tell you Overwatch, even though that game is in a horrible state right now, but that game gets money and time out of me daily. The gaming space for consoles is honestly kind of dead right now, in my opinion, and it makes me sad. I can't tell if it's because I'm getting older or if the games are genuinely just bad. It's hard to say, but hopefully there's new releases soon that really pick up the game again. My favorite consoles of all time would have to be the 3DS the new 3DS LL/XL, the original Xbox, the Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, Wii, and PS Vita. I wish I had more to say about the PS5 because it's a great machine. It just has no content on it at all. So unfortunately, I don't really have anything to justify buying it. It's already halfway through its cycle and the library is just empty. It's ridiculous. It's sad to say, but I hope the library expands soon, and I hope one day I can actually justify the purchase. Okay, well, there's the tier list. Bye, guys. Thanks. Bye. Overall, I've had a great time with these consoles. I feel very sorry for those who missed out on these generation of consoles. I think that's why so many people are into nostalgia. It was just better back then. Not to sound like an old head, but I have a deep love for these consoles, and I always will. They brought me many great memories, and I hope future generations of consoles continue to evolve and innovate and reach the heart of the players. As for recommendations, if you've never played, I highly recommend the original Xbox, the 360, a version that doesn't flunk out on you, the Wii, the 3DS, modded of course, mod it yourself, the PlayStation 2, and the PS Vita, modded as well. These were staples of my childhood, and I want everyone to experience the joy they brought to me when I was a kid. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!